I've seen Professor Dawkins behave in a way that seems to me to be very similar to the way that I've seen religious fundamentalists perform in meetings and in the way they conduct themselves in public. And you know, perhaps that was over the top in the book, but actually the point is that I'm sorry, Professor, I think you're a brilliant scientist, but I think you let yourself down by behaving like a fundamentalist, and I find that distressing.
When was the last time I threw a bomb?
Well, I'll get to you in a minute, Richard. He asked, when was the last time he threw a bomb?
Well,
rather than an intellectual bomb.
But can we talk about the survey?
But I want you to address this tag of militancy, you know, and because there's a little bit of a backlash towards you, and it calls nothing to do with it, but there's an article in the Telegraph this morning. They've done a kind of who do you think you are on you, and they found out that one of your great whatever ancestors was a slave owner, and they've gone, aha.
You would be amazed at what's been going on this week. One after another. I mean, this one in the Telegraph is just the latest. I really feel we're rattling their cages. When you feel the need, when a Telegraph reporter feels the need to retaliate by going back 300 years to an ancestor of mine, I think he was my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who owned slaves in Jamaica. I mean, how desperate can you get if instead of listening to the arguments, you say, oh, his great-great-great-great-great-grandfather owned slaves?
To the best of my knowledge, this is neither a smear tactic nor a retaliation for anything. It was a story that somebody found out and they printed it in the paper. I'm not involved in that story, and I can't comment on it, but to the best of my knowledge, there is no sense of a smear tactic or retaliation.
No, but I have to admit, working for the Telegraph as I do...
the Telegraph on trial!
No. We were rather amused by the fact that Professor Dawkins has often talked about how religion enslaves humanity. And it was interesting to see that he comes from a family that used to enslave people too.
But so that was what prompted the article then?
Well, no, I don't think that's what prompted it. I'm saying that it was amusing when we discovered.
But Christina, we're all more related to each other in this room than he is to that ancestor.
Richard's my brother, actually. Long lost brother.
What's interesting about...
Do you believe in the virgin birth, Christina?
I do. I believe in miracles too. And
do you have to believe in the virgin birth and the resurrection of Christ to be a Christian?
And the whole thing is that, you see, what is so interesting is that what Richard and his fellow secularists want is for science to be the only guiding force.
Well, a lot of religious people are secularists.
Well, you know. And for rationality and reason to be our God. But actually, what spirituality is a whole other dimension that we enter into, and that, you know, you don't.
I don't care what you believe and what you say.
You care a great deal because you keep polling us. You keep polling us, and you keep trying to play a numbers game. And if we're going to play a numbers game, 7,000 members of the National Secular Society is just about as much as
Christina,
the 7,000 members of the National British Sausage Appreciation Society.
We all know that this is political.
Let's not let
okay, wait.
drive
Jonathan, Richard, remind Richard what he was going to say.
I was just interrupted. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the point. What was the point you were making? It was the point before that about.
I'm saying that it's not
appreciating.
I don't care what you believe, so long as what you believe is not used to legislate in this country and affect what the rest of us believe. Why do we have 26 places in Parliament reserved for bishops of the Church of England? Why not...
Wait, let him finish.
Could I finish?
Let him finish.
Why not have 26 places reserved for white men?
This is an answer.
If you did that, there would be outrage, and quite rightly. Why do we have 26 places reserved for bishops of the Church of England?
What do you think about this? Well, I don't know about the virgin birth or not. Do you think that's key to being a Christian? Do you think all those sort of fundamental key...
It's up to them. If they want to believe supernatural nonsense, that is up to them, but don't force it on the rest of us.
Okay. What about you?
What interests me is that there are religionists on one side, there are atheists on the other side. There are, by Richard's estimation, 30 million people sitting in the middle, scratching their heads, watching this programme and going, what about us?
30 million? I wish. Richard, you've said faith is a spent force in the UK. Do you think the trends are very much the, religion is slowly crawling into the dustbin of history?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and actually showing some signs of desperation. I mean, when you think that what faith actually is is believing something without evidence. How can you possibly justify believing something without evidence? If there is evidence, it's not faith anymore. It's evidence. It's what people who believe in science believe in.
What percentage of the universe don't you know anything about these days? I can't remember.
A very great deal.
94%?
A very great deal. And I don't say, therefore, I believe so-and-so. I say, I'm waiting to find out. We're working on it.
So
we
do
need more
Christians.
research.
Journey.
So do
It's a journey.
Christians.
Then why do you have faith in things like the virgin birth and
I
the
don't,
resurrection?
Richard.
I'm glad you don't, but many do.
I do, and Richard...
I know you do.
How can you justify believing something of which there's no
Can I
evidence?
tell you, Richard, because I believe in the resurrection, and
Yeah.
the reason is it offers me a hope of the future and a vision. And actually it shapes my ethics. And I come to similar conclusions in some areas to you because of my faith. You get there by a different route.
Okay.
And we disagree on some things because I come a different
Well,
route.
that's very
but
revealing.
It's important to respect that.
That's very revealing. You believe something because it gives you hope.
Nicky, sorry.
My case rests.
We are going to leave it there. Listen, thank you all so much for taking part. Thank you in that particular debate.